it kind of hurts my feelings a little bit, but I think we'll be okay.
You know, and I have to kind of shout you out for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna, you know, kind of talk about everything we've sort of talked about too. So Cim Carver is actually, he's an artist. He's run 3 marathons and he speaks Spanish. He actually is in charge of the Spanish sales too. Is that correct?
It is correct.
I've been working with you for 6 months and I never knew any of this. And there was something else. You were recruited to play professional baseball.
I did, but I decided I should be a dad instead. So I wasn't good enough to probably make a lot of money out of it. So probably should focus on stuff that matters.
It's cool. It's cool. So Cim Carver is here to talk to us. And one of the things that I just love about Cim is that he totally keeps it real, right? So we all have so much on our plates. We all have so much that we have to balance, that we have just going on. We have stuff, you know, everybody's got something, right? And Cim gets that. So it's been nice to work with somebody who understands that part of it. So he's a dad of 4 kiddos. He is traveling quite a bit with his job. So one of the things that we know about each other is you keep it real, you know, family first, priority, absolutely all the time. So Cim, do you kind of want to get started and do your little chit chat kind of stuff?
Do my spiel. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I'm actually going to do something a little bit different than I've never done before. I'm going to, Caleb, come here real quick. I want to introduce you guys. See if he'll come over and say hi to everybody. Come here, say hi. Come here.
Oh.
My oldest son, Caleb. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here and say hi. He is hiding on my bed. Caleb, say hi. Wave to everybody. There's my laundry. Say hi. Wave. Wave. All right. Apparently he's not going to say hi. Hey, buddy, why don't you go close the door, okay? Go downstairs. Go downstairs. All right, hold. Well, I'll tell you the reason why I was going to say. I'm going to tell you a little bit of the story about Caleb real quick. And I was thinking about the call, and I wanted to see if he would get on and say hi to you, but he is a little bit shy. So the reason why I wanted to say hello, and that would have worked really good in my mind, it was going to go that way. As I was thinking about what I want to share with you tonight, I was reminded of an experience several years ago when Caleb was a lot younger. He was about 7, 8 years old. And no, why don't you go downstairs? Go close the door and go downstairs. And I was coming home from a trip back east, back in New York, and it was kind of late. And I was trying to, prepare myself to kind of come in and sneak in the house. And as I opened the door, I was actually surprised. But just shut the door. Shut the door. You're okay. Shut the door. I was actually really surprised that he was still awake. And as I greeted him, as I walked in, he got off the couch and he was sitting there with my wife. And he said, in his broken speaking, he says, "Dad, you're home. I missed you. And how's work?" And it was a poignant moment to me, not because of what he said, but I remember kind of having some really vivid impressions or flashbacks at the time. And what you have to understand is when Caleb was born, we found out when he was about 2 years old that he had special needs. And it was a real difficult time for me, not just because of the personal adjustments that I had to make in my own mind and heart, but it was also hard because during that time as a parent, you're trying to find out what this means, and you deal with a lot of specialists that seem to have a never-ending amount of opinions. And it felt like to me that everything was always bad news. He's not going to be able to do this. He won't be able to do this. Here's this mean. This is what this disability means. And it was always very difficult for me as a parent to hear those. And one of the things they always told us was that he would probably never speak. He would be nonverbal. And that was hard for us, right? This is our oldest child. This was our first baby. And one of the early intervention programs that we did was at this place called Kids on the Move. And I'll never forget it. I walked in there and I met a young woman, middle-aged, named Sharon. And Sharon understood the situation. She understood what the specialists were saying, and she saw, I think, the fear in our eyes of, what do we do? And I remember very clearly Sharon having a very calm approach, just saying, wait a minute, let's not give up on him. Let's see what he can do. And she helped us create a plan for Caleb. We'd start with some simple sign language to help him start making some connections with his ability to communicate. And then we did make sure we assigned words to those signs, and then we would slowly start taking away some of the signs and helping him learn words, and yada yada yada. There was a process she put in place for us. But more than anything, what Sharon did was Sharon gave us hope, and we needed that at that time. She showed us a way. She believed in our son when it seemed like nobody else did. And I'm ashamed to say, maybe even including us sometimes, and what he could do. Now, maybe my son would have learned to speak, even little that he does right now. Maybe he would have without Sharon, but I'm not sure. But I do know that she gave us the courage to believe in that time, and I know that God put her in our lives for a reason at that time. And there is probably not a week that goes by that I am not grateful for Sharon and for the fact that my son does speak. And it's not perfect. I mean, he's not quoting Shakespeare's soliloquies or anything like that, but he speaks. And he's able to communicate, interact, and he's able to have friends and other pieces. And in that moment, when I got home that late night, and I heard my son say, "Dad, you're home. I missed you. How's work?" I was overwhelmed with gratitude and appreciation of kind of going through that process and looking back on that and really having some perspective on it. Now, why do I say that to you? Well, the thing about Sharon is Sharon was just an employee, right? To my knowledge, she hasn't won and hadn't won any special awards or commendations. She's not a recognized leader in her field. Some might even call her ordinary. But I'll tell you that we don't here call her ordinary. She has changed our lives, and we'll always remember Sharon. And so a lot of times, applying this story to you guys, I think it's important that you understand that in a lot of ways, I know when you're a coach in this network with all these people, it sometimes feels like you can kind of get lost in the shuffle. But I want you to know that every single coach matters in this network, everyone. And I hope that you never find yourself saying that I'm just a coach, or I'm just an emerald, or I'm just a, whatever it happens to be, and start to discount yourself, just like Sharon, who probably saw herself as being nothing special. Our mission is to help people achieve their goals and live healthy, fulfilling lives. And I love that. And I love that our theme for this year is everyone matters. And that everyone includes you. And in fact, it probably is especially for you. And so why do I say that? Why do I say that? Well, we're in Team Cup, right? We talk about goals. Katie just shared with you a lot of cool things that are going on, right? All these options that are in front of you. And so often I'll work with coaches who count themselves out before they even have a chance to count themselves in. And they take that approach where they start to discount themselves. Well, I haven't had as much success as so-and-so, and so-and-so's been in longer than me, and they're more successful than me, so I must not be very good at this. Or I'm just a coach, what do I know? Or I could never have a story as powerful as Katie's, right? Whatever that happens to be, we start to count ourselves out before we ever have the chance to count ourselves in. And I want to challenge that thinking a little bit in you. Over the years that I've done this, I have come to find that there is real power in belief, and in believing in ourselves. And I want you to know that I believe that all of you are coaches for a reason. There's people out there that need your story, just exactly the way that you can put it together and the way that you can connect with them. They need that from you, okay? They need you to be their Sharon, just like Sharon was that for us, for our son Caleb. And so when we talk about these things, don't count yourselves out from it. I hope that you'll set goals for yourself. I hope that you'll shoot for your next ranked title, right? And that you'll shoot for your next SC point. And I hope that you'll push yourself to overcome obstacles and not be satisfied with being good, that you'll go after being great. And the reason is because behind every point is a person. And with every increase in effort is an increase in your potential to help more people, okay? It's difficult sometimes. We lose sight of that when we get caught in the minutia, but that's really what it is. And never discounting yourself, okay? Understanding that you have the potential within you to make a great difference, not only for yourself and for your family, but for other people. And so I want to share with you 5 points real fast that I think, as I was kind of pondering tonight's call and thinking about where you're at, right? We're looking at Cut Month. We've got all of you are on teams. We're talking about making some points and really kind of focusing and setting some good goals for this month and some activities and really trying to push ourselves to see what we can do. The first thing to take away, I hope you'll get, is don't discount yourself. Don't count yourself out before you have a chance to even count yourself in. Allow yourself to have a little bit of room to believe in that point. And then let's talk about making a difference. First way to make a difference. Focus your efforts on individuals and set a goal for the number of people that you want to help each month. I know Katie talks a lot about this. Katie and I think very similar in this approach, right? When we talk about points and other things, it's people behind those points. And so let's set a goal for the number of individuals that we're going to talk to. So overcome any hesitation you might have or fear by having a clear vision of how your courage can really change the trajectory of somebody's life. So set a goal for the number of individuals you're going to contact each day and how you're going to do it. That should be part of your CUP strategy. How many individual people do I want to reach out to on a daily basis and invite them to learn more? How many conversations do I want to strike up so that I can establish trust, so that I can then introduce them to something that can change their life? Be disciplined in that approach. Focused on the individual, okay? Which will result in points for yourself, obviously, but set a goal for the number of people we want to reach out to. Sometimes that's easier to do than to say the number of contacts or the number of points we're going to go out to. Let's talk about the number of individuals you want to talk to on a daily basis. That's the first way you make a difference, by putting yourself out there, by letting yourself be a little bit vulnerable, being vulnerable to rejection. The second point is, and this is going to sound a little bit cheesy like a lot of my stuff does, but allow yourself to believe that you can be successful at inspiring other people and helping them. And keep that vision present in your mind in a clear way. So if you don't have some kind of a reminder for yourself that reminds you of your purpose and of your potential, okay? I think I shared this before. I have a dry erase marker, and on my rear view mirror in my car, I write the number 40. 40 is a big number for me this year. I turned 40 this year. I know a lot of them older than most of you on the call. I'm an old man. But I have some goals where I want to go into my 40s a certain way. And that's a big driver for me, right? So do something to remind yourself of that vision, to allow yourself to push through some of those flat spots. And then what I'm going to ask you to do, in addition to that, in addition to keeping that present from your mind, is to make sure you have some other people to help hold you accountable to that. You have a great opportunity in Team Cup to be able to do that. Katie just gave you a great suggestion to start a page where all of you can get together and hold each other accountable for that, and go and encourage each other and support each other and encourage each other to keep that present in front of your mind. Okay, what that does is it keeps the purpose in your business at the forefront. And people respond to purpose. They respond to people who are operating with a purpose. And it allows you to transcend your business beyond just simple transactions in business, in a business environment, to one that's actually purposeful. That makes recruiting easier, all right? So focus your efforts, right? Set a goal, a number of individuals you want to talk to on a daily basis. Keep your purpose present and foremost so it's a part of your discussions. That's the second point. The third point is I'm going to ask all of you to share your story at least once a week. I would probably say once a day if you can, but as a minimum, a couple times or once a week, and learn to believe in that story that you've got. You've got a great example with Katie of the power of a story. And sometimes it can probably be intimidating to you. You think, wow, that's an amazing story. I don't have a story, but you do. And you have a story when you talk to your own experiences and why you do what you do, and the hopes and the aspirations and the beliefs and the vision that you have for yourself and for your family in doing what you do as a coach. You don't have to create a story. You don't have to manufacture one that you think sounds right. Speak honestly. Be authentic to yourself. And articulate that. Write that down. Write down your story and try to get even down to maybe even a couple key bullet points. And on a regular basis, I want you to share that. So when we talk about the number of people that we're going to be talking to, right, there's going to be lots of opportunities for you to share your story. So once a week should not be difficult. It might even be once a day. But the point is get comfortable articulating your story and do that on a regular basis. That's the third point. Because this is a business about helping people, right? And so when we set a goal, when we talk about holding ourselves accountable while keeping our purpose present within our mind, then we talk about really then articulating that with our story so people can relate to that. That's the third point. The fourth point then is probably one that's going to be easy for a lot of you, which is to be your genuine self with daily Facebook posts. And what I mean by that is when you're on your social media, right? Don't feel like you've got to copy people, but I want to challenge all of you to do daily posts about things that are happening to you, your authentic voice, life, how you're incorporating Beachbody into it is appropriate, but allow people into who you are and do it consistently, okay? Do those posts on a regular basis, on a daily basis. There'll be opportunities in there to share your story, to talk about insights you've got. And the more regular and genuine you are to yourself, not copying other people or trying to duplicate stuff, the more successful that you're going to be. The fifth and final point, and this is probably one if a lot of you are like a lot of coaches, this will be the tough one for you. I think the first four are about kind of believing in yourself and putting yourself out there. Now the fifth one is where I'm going to bring up something that's going to push you a little bit. And that's don't be afraid to push for results, to push for decisions with people. People's inclinations naturally are going to be to procrastinate or put off decisions. For some reason, sometimes we're wired to think that if we just think about it a little bit longer, the decisions can become clear. And all that's done really to our country, that culture of procrastination has made us fat and tired and sick. And so when it comes to what we do, a lot of times they need you to help them push them into that first step. And it's never going to be salesy if you've done those first four things. If you've been your authentic self, if you've reached out to them and made relationships, and if you've come across in a genuine way where you're really trying to help them, then you're never going to come across as pushy, and they need you to help them make that decision. And that's going to require you to push yourself out there, and you might feel a little bit weird about it. It might feel salesy or pushy. And what I'm saying is it's not. If you've been your authentic self, if you've taken your time to be consistent with your voice and the things we've talked about, then you're just going to really you're asking them to make a decision to take a step forward. And a lot of times they need coaches to help them make those choices so you can help them get better in reaching their goals. And those first steps are sometimes the hardest. So those really are they're 5 ideas to help you make a difference in people's lives. And I started this kind of talking about Sharon, right? And I was going to have this beautiful thing where my son was going to come on and say something to you, but he got really shy, probably because he saw you were all girls and he's a teenager. And even though he's got the cognitive abilities about a 5-year-old, he still likes the babes. And so, which is really interesting for us right now. Yeah. But I want you to think about Sharon. And I want you to think about the impact that this unknown, unassuming, quiet mom who was dedicated to what she did, the impact that she's had. In a very real way, that you have that same opportunity. And so believe in that and believe in yourself and take the courage to leverage that. And I don't mean this to be all rah-rah and huggy and, we all love each other and all that stuff. There's some real principles here, some real takeaways that I hope as you are setting these goals for yourself, as you're pushing yourself forward and holding yourself accountable, that I think that you can make yourself more effective. So anyway, Katie, I was rambling as usual.
No, actually, it's so funny, because we had kind of talked a little bit about what I thought would be a good call topic. And so this book, and I highly suggest it. It's called You Are a Badass. I know you guys have seen me talk about this before. So she gets so real with you, and Kim was so polite and so kind when he was talking and giving us these great ideas. But you know, at one point in the book, she says, and it's the best takeaway. She just said, you know, if you want to kick some ass, you got to move your foot. And I was like, yeah, you do, you know, because it's true. If you really want to go for something and you have it in your head and you keep going back to it and you keep thinking of it, it's, I want to be an Emerald coach, or I want to hit Success Club 5. I want to do this. But then you don't do it. You don't go for it. You don't do it. So you start lying to yourself. You start saying, you know, I don't need to do it. You know, I don't mind my job that much. And, you know, it's just a couple of points and, you know, I'll get it next month. And all of a sudden you start to believe all your lies until it just, your goals, your ambitions, everything just fall to the wayside because your lie has consumed them. So there is a tip that I have for this. So I want you to think of somebody who is going to hold you accountable, and not in a Success Club partner kind of way where it's all rainbows and butterflies and you hold each other's hand and you go, oh, it's okay, you know, everything's fine. You want someone who's gonna kick your ass a little bit. You want somebody who's gonna be like, you know what? I said I'm gonna hit Success Club 10. I'm gonna tell Sarah Corey that I'm gonna hit Success Club 10. And I know that Sarah Corey is gonna be like, hey, where are you at? Did you hit Success Club 10 yet? You need someone like that who's gonna be a little bit mean, and not in a bad way, but in a, I'm gonna hold you accountable because you told me this is what you wanted and you told me why you wanted it. So there was just those kind of things that I took away from the call. But the big one was, you know, it's just that the start line stops most people. And it's so true.
So it is, Katie, let me jump in on that too.
I think guys, going to call me out on this? You're going to call me out on this call.
No, I'm not going to call you out on it. I'm not going to call you out on it at all. But I do, just to echo that and to show you guys I'm a little masculine. I know that was like the softest, pansiest little analogy I was giving, but I really want to drive home a point with you guys. And the reason is this, and let me back myself up a little bit here. In the 15 plus years I've been doing this, the number one thing that keeps people from being successful is fear. They honestly, you guys, it is a choice that you have to make to be able to do it. And whether it is someone kind of take a little bit of an attitude and that, you know, kick you in the butt, get you going, all that kind of stuff, to blast through that fear, I don't care what it is, okay? But it is something where you're going to get off this call and tomorrow is going to come and your life's going to face you. And the reality is that if you don't do something different, you're going to be in the same place. I mean, you know what the choices to this point have led. There's a saying that said that your life today is a sum of your previous life's choices. And so the truth of the matter is that to make a difference, we sometimes have to confront fears and habits and things that we've been running away from a long time, and creating these structures and accountabilities and pumping each other up and being mean and all that other stuff, guys. It's to bust through some of those walls, because on the other side of those obstacles, it's the success you're looking for. And there's a purpose behind it, and there's a reason behind it, and the opportunity behind it is significant for you. So whatever it takes, whatever it looks like for you, whether it's a book that you know has a bad word on it that I don't want to show my kids, whether it's just kidding, Katie, I'm just joking.
I don't read yet, so it's still okay.
My son's out of the room. You have to go cussing on the video call. But anyway, no, yeah.
Cim, I'm pretty sure you have the word pansy, and I don't know which one's worse.
Pansy? Pansy's not a bad word.
I thought it was a bad word. No?
It is. I mean, it's insulting, but it's not necessarily a bad word. But anyway, you guys get a feel for how our calls go, Katie and I, on a weekly basis. But the point is, the takeaway, I think, from this is opportunities only sit in front of you for so long before opportunities move. And the longer we sit and stare at it, the harder it is to move. It's like your feet are sitting in cement, and the longer you sit there, the drier that cement gets. And so you got to take action. and you've got to move, and let the purpose be a part of it. Let it be what it is, and take those steps. And I think you'll be really surprised at what that consistent action does for you. All right, Katie, I promise I'll shut up now. I won't say anything else.
No, actually, I do want to go back to the third bullet point you had when you talked about the power of your story. So
yep.
One of the things that you mentioned is just creating these bullet points. So, you know, sometimes we get off of these calls and we go, I feel so good. And then we don't really do anything with it. You know, we don't really like move forward with it. We don't say, you know, what am I going to take away from this call? What can I actually put into motion with the call? And there is something that I would actually encourage you to do. So whether your story is directly related to, you know, Beachbody, a physical transformation, an emotional transformation, or whatever it might be, I actually want you to dig a little deeper, and you can actually look for anecdotes. And anecdotes are these little snippets, these little, like, almost like Polaroid pictures of your life, like small little stories that have happened to you that have kind of created and molded you into the person that you've become, right? And I want you to think about those little anecdotes. And I want you to think about how one or two of them have made you sort of make the decisions that you're constantly making. You know, why did you become, you know, decide to become a coach? Why did you decide to reach out for help? Why did you, you know, gain the weight in the first place? Those small little snippets are the things that people are drawn to. They're the things that make you relatable. So it doesn't have to be this story, because I became an elite coach before I ever was diagnosed with cancer. So I had a story. It's just that my story changed and molded, and my reason and my purpose changed and molded over time. So with that sort of being said, I would love for you to think about an anecdote, a small story, or a small Polaroid picture of your life that actually is transferable into the coach that you are now. You know, connect those dots together. And even if you don't know quite what your story is, if you keep connecting these dots of these Polaroid pictures and your current life, you're going to see your story sort of become what it's meant to become. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Well, to me, I'll speak for myself, but yeah, makes sense to me. Since I'm the only one not muted, I'll just say yes and speak for everybody.
That's cool. I'm trying to think. All right, guys, so let's leave a couple minutes open for questions. So you can pick his brain if you want to know everything that's coming out this spring or summer from Beachbody. Kim can tell you all of that information.
Oh yeah, I keep no secrets. I'm like a sieve of information here.
Because I'm sure they told you. They won't even take a picture of you for the event.
They won't. I mean, that they are planning on firing me any day now.
That's fine. That's good. That's good. All right, so questions for Kim. Go ahead and unmute yourselves or type them up in the chat. And don't be shy, or I'll call you out, Diapers. I know you're on the line.
Diapers. Hey, I wasn't going to bring up diapers, okay? I know that that's the legacy, and I don't want to do that to that poor woman anymore.
He's so muted. He's so afraid to unmute. I love it. Anyone, questions? Type them up in the chat, or I will just call on someone. Kirsten, you've got to have something.
She won't even show her face.
Christina won't show her face.
Christina, you know I love you.
Thanks, Kim, for being on. I don't really have any questions. I just appreciate you speaking from the heart, and this kind of reiterates everything that went on at the conference this weekend. Was just what this company is about. It's about people. It's not about a Success Club number. It's not about a dollar sign. And I know for myself that passion was reignited in my soul just from being there. So I appreciate you getting on the call and bringing that corporate side to the rest of the team so that people can feel that too.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you saying that. I hope you guys really understand that. That was part of the reason why I wanted to say that. Is I know sometimes it's hard to feel like you're kind of lost in the sea of coaches, but every one of you guys are really important to us. And I wish there was a way that we could connect with all of you, but this is the closest thing. And you need to know that, because it is about people. And my belief is one of the things that makes Beachbody so unique and so different is because we have a very clear people-focused mission. And when you share in that mission, it makes the recruiting and the building of the business a lot easier because people respond to that approach. And when that's at our core, it makes all the difference in the world. So thanks for saying that.
Cool.
That was an
I have
easy
a question.
Talk to me.
What was the name of the book that you were talking about? I got on the call late.
Me? The one I was talking about?
Somebody. I got on like right as you were talking about the book, and I kind of lost.
I think it was me. So I finished, but it was fantastic. I'm not allowed to say it because Kim doesn't want me to say the word.
My kids aren't in the room. We're good.
Okay.
You go ahead and cuss all you want.
You are a bad. I don't want to insult anyone, but it's Jen Sincero, I think is the last name. And it really is, it is fantastic. And there were so many takeaways from it. And honestly, guys, when I read personal development and I highlight and I annotate things, but by the way, did I spell February right?
You did.
Okay. It looked really, really wrong. But I'll use a lot of these ideas for posts. When I think of things, they come to my mind when I'm reading personal development. For reals. Yep.
So I'm going to copy the link into the chat here of that book for you guys that want it from Amazon.
Okay. Thanks.
Groovy.
Cool. Anything else, guys? All right, so we have a huge month. February, challenge packs on sale. Just really think of it as how many people can I help? How many people can I invite? How many people can I talk to? And the more you start embedding your personal experiences with Beachbody and your personal stories, the more you're going to see you're very comfortable with talking about it. And that comes with time and it comes with consistency as well. Kim, do you have any final thoughts?
I think you guys you're primed. I mean, you guys, it's a great year. You guys put in a lot of time and effort last year developing your leadership, and this is the year when the Knockout Brigade really starts taking that step forward, I believe. At least that's my perception on it. And so it's a great month to do it. Got a lot of tools in place, and so honestly, it should be a great month for all of you. So just get out there and don't wait. Don't be afraid. Just go get it.
Yep, and don't be afraid to tell someone else what your goals are, Reach out to that accountability partner. Reach out to your upline. Reach out to Cim Carver and say, this is what I'm going to do. And be held accountable. Okay? Sound good? All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time, Kim. We really appreciate it. Have a great night, guys.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys.